Yo, we're here at the truck. This is Skip. Not really Skipopotamus, the roving reporter. This is more Skip's critical thinking and self-improvement section. So there was a video, gauging success is the name of it, and this is going to be how to gauge success. All right, might do a series out of this. Whatever, let's get into this deal. All right, so here we go. Here's our deal. There's our date. The paper thinker. Okay, so basically I started out here. I did these, and then some of this, and then did some of this, did some of this, and then realized this was actually that. Came back, added some of this, put a name to it, what day it was, and then there's Zoe, which is life itself. Okay, so what the deal is you got this powerless thing for kudos and theory and all that kind of stuff. The power list is a deal by Andy Frisella, excuse me, and he does add to your daily stuff. It's 5 tasks that you're going to improve on every day, and as you master them, they become a habit. You begin to do something else. If you do the things, you win the day. If you don't, you lose. The point is to track every day in a win-loss situation, and you can go to andyfrisella.com, get the book Power List, and he's got videos about it and everything else. Okay, so I did some things about personal wealth. Okay, previously I did this business plan, and here is some of the things about your net worth. This is some stuff that I've expounded upon that come from Patrick Bet-David. Okay, so you got your money, your influence and voice, your health and your skills. And then there's another subset. You got credit, income, savings, and investments. So all this is actually money. And then I added this: God, relationships, legacy, country, humanity, and Bible study, maintenance, what's left hereafter, and civic duty, contributions to mankind. This came out of one of my little deals, so that's pretty good. And this is how, I was thinking about this thing. I think I made a video on here. I don't know if it's still on here or not. Yeah, so this is some of the stuff that I came up with, and it's not all my thoughts. Okay, so this is, I call it this is a YouTube certification. So this is how I come up with my business plan for me, and this is some of the things that I consider my net worth. You know what I mean? And so that's real good. You can pause that at any point and see that. Now, as I was just kind of brainstorming this deal, I wrote just this part at first. This up here came after the fact. Okay, and then I did like the personal wealth, and this is just off the top of my head, that there was no specifics to importance in the listing. This was just off the cuff, which is pretty much everything I do. So health, skills, relationship, real estate, and spirit. And I thought there's different categories of life. So you got your family, friends, work, church, community, homestead, study. And then I thought about, well, me as a person, I'm just mind, body, and soul, whatever. And then I started about the different stages of different things. So we got novice, beginner, intermediate, advanced, professional, master, teacher, trader, and disciple. This actually is kind of in order. I feel like if you haven't mastered the situation, then you ain't really qualified to be a teacher or a trader. However, the teaching and the training of others is how you become a master. So it's kind of like goes this way and then kind of goes back this way. Okay, so like this is quite interesting. This is stages. Okay, and then over here I put age. I did the 1 to 4, 4 to 9, 9 to 13, 14 to 19, 20 to 25, 26 to 34, about 34 to 44, 40. Now from here on, I'm kind of guessing from what I've studied and gleaned. 45 to 55, 55 to 63, 63 to 67, 67 to 78, and 79 to 100. Okay, and then after that, I kind of put this arrow right here because this is age and stage, and these are interchangeable on a lot of the different things. Then I realized that with your age, you got like, how many years have I been on the planet? Where is my head? You know what I mean? Because I know that I was over here in youngin, but I was down here on dialed and grinding. But I was right here in actual age, right here at youngin. I was already dialed and grinding mentally and physically. But then you got your physiological. So this is more of your physical health. You know, they say, you know, some dudes, you know, 25, been working in a coal mine, smokes 2 packs of cigarettes. He's got the lungs of somebody that's 70. So that's like, you know, these things. And these will interchange based off of these topics up here. Okay, so there's your health, there's your skills. Like, you take your skill level at playing chess. You know what I mean? And you might be a novice and you're physically 20 years old. You know what I mean? But mentally, you're up here at the toddler deal because your age and stage correlates. And then up here is your wealth and then your category. You know what I mean? Like, if your job is to play chess, well, you're definitely going to have to up your game. So all this is quite interchangeable, but if you didn't write it down, you haven't thought about it yet. So see, if I didn't write this down, I can't make that correlation right now that I just made making this page. So this is why you got to write it down. So after I did that, then I did this here, and it was like, it's a strong bond. You know what I mean? And then I wrote the interchange, and then I made sure to capitalize enter. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to write that down and like, this is really something I want to cling on to. So it's interchangeable is the word, but as I enter into the thought, I can also modify these things, and the thought itself can be changeable. So it's like, when I see this word just now, I'm saying it right now, this is real time, this just happened, interchangeable. I just seen a deeper meaning inside, and it's a more intimate look into my own self and my thoughts. Okay, so that's like kind of one of them deals. That's what I'm telling you, man. You got to write this stuff down because it's borderline magic. So, your critical thinking and stuff like that and everything, there's something about it. They do a deal where they show they want you to read the book so you can see how far you're progressing, you know, because you first start opening the book, it's just right there in the beginning. Then, you know, 2 weeks into this deal, you got some gap in pages there because you've been reading 10 pages a day. You know what I mean? And then, you know, if you take a picture of yourself every day with your shirt off, it's somewhere in there you're going to be tired of it and you ain't going to want to work out, and you'll see that picture of yourself and you're just be like, fuck that. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a fat bastard. And then there's also the hatred and the texts and the haters and the people that called you fat, and you're like, you got that chip on your shoulder and you don't want to be fat, or they called you dumb, or they said that you'd never be nothing. And oh, you're, negative whatever, and, the best part of you ran down your mama's leg or whatever, you know what I mean? And so that puts that chip on your shoulder, right? So that can be some of your motivationals and stuff like that. Okay, now back to this deal here, because this is a big deal. Okay, so up here for personal wealth we got skills, and then over here the net worth, skills. So that's recommended by a professional on YouTube. This is YouTube certification. Okay, so skills. Now this is what I call skills. I do not profess to possess all of these to a master level, but I do possess all of these in various levels, different age and stage. Okay, and this is just when I was writing it down. So I got problem solving, focus, thinking critically, self-control, balance, patience, discernment, fighting discipline, work ethic, loyalties, grit, honor, interface / use tools, communication, timing, sales, customer service, marketability, marketing, inventory, Bible comprehension, dedication, faith. Yes, faith is a skill. Endurance, driving, woodworking, measurements, and math. Math is a big deal. This right here, I wrote skills in my font. This is my font. So when I write it, this here is a banner. So this is my banner. This is my title heading inside my banner that is written in my own personal font. And this right here is a representation of the Holy Ghost. You can see here, this is like the sun rising with its rays of goodness. You can also see that it's inside the banner. You know what I mean? And it's like net worth. But you can see over here, I specifically made this the net. Like I'm going to catch this and it's worth something. So you get your dad jokes in there, your puns or whatever. You know what I mean? It gives you a different perspective and a different way of looking at stuff, which will give you a deeper insight. So I know most people are going to say net worth and they're going to think about it a certain way. But if I am going to catch things that are valuable, net worth, I'm going to net what's worth. And so that's the thing. Then over here we put business plan. So, mind your own business, well, you need a business to put your mind on, and then you need to have a plan. So your business plan. But see how it's split. And see, this is also a representation how you're going to need more business and a well-rounded plan, but your business, you're going to have to stretch it. You see what I'm saying? And of course, there again, it's inside a banner. So that's the title heading of my page. You see what I'm saying? See, we got right here, magic, new habits, new goals, magic. See, clarity, better systems, sales, operations, assistance, revenue. X plus Y equals a shitload of money. You know what I mean? Your past year assessment. You know what I mean? You got to write down the good, bad, and ugly of what you're doing. You want a large banner you look at, and this is a grand scheme, and then you want to break that down to your monthlies. So at the top heading of your calendar, so you got your calendar heading up here, and then you got your business calendar with your day planner on your desk. You know what I'm saying? And you spend money for this, and you get that big old desk covering calendar, and you put that down or whatever like that, and that's your month. And then you want a daily one-page reader for that particular month. So that could be up at the top of your thing. You know what I mean? So you got your big title heading, May, month of, get her done, son. And then underneath it, this is, blah, 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 important to us this month and our targeted whatever, you know, acronym or something like that, and then all your days. And then you can, when you're on the phone or you're busy or whatever, you can pencil down whatever notes that you need. And then somebody says, hey, you know, on the 15th at 2 o'clock, yada, yada, you go over here to the 15th, write it down or whatever. Before you leave the office, it goes into the corporate calendar. Okay, so your corporate calendar, you need to have a team of people in your upper management that you're dealing with. You know, this could be a farm, this could be a homestead, could be your marriage, could be a, you know, 400 trucking operation with 72 people in the back office running a brokerage, an assets backed brokerage and manufacturing facility, right? So let's say that you're making, you know, shingles. So you built this factory and you're gluing these shingles together, and then you need to haul the shingles to the customer. So you buy the truck, and now your truck is hauling your product, but it needs to be able to haul product back. So you got to get your resources in and your materials into the plant, and then you got to get your product out of the plant. So at a certain point, instead of hiring a truck, instead of hiring a broker to hire trucks, you just get your brokerage and you buy a truck, and then you have a private fleet to move your own product. And that's extremely profitable, and it's compartments that are scalable, right? So understanding that is a thing. But then there's like the homestead. You have to keep the electricity on. You don't want your wife to be taking a shower and the electric power go off on the entire property due to a fluke where the auto pay didn't pay, and then the electric company is now shutting off the electric, and you have to deal with all that situation, right? So that's ridiculous. Ask me how I know. Thanks, CoServe. Appreciate you. They did get everything lined out, and all payments are up to date, and all fees for inconvenience waived. They waived $100 they were going to charge me because they didn't do their own what they're supposed to do. Like it's an auto pay. It's the same card. It's been there for 2 years. So yeah. Anyway, got that figured out. And instead of the bill, they check it in between the 7th and the 9th, and it could be X, it could be Z, blah, blah. I'm like, why can't it just be like the 1st or the 15th or whatever? And they're like, oh yeah, you could set it up that way. I said, well, why did you say it to begin with, right? So like, you know, instead of getting all wrapped around the axles about times and dates and everything else like that, like you can approach your customer and say, hey, is there some way that we can set this up? Let's make this a reoccurring automated system. And now I was able to go into their system, and they walked me through how to go step by step through their system. Now I will be alerted via email, text, and phone call if certain situations and parameters arise again. It will not happen unbeknownst to me unless I'm completely unavailable. So, in the case of, you know, when is my electric bill due at Unit T? That would be on the 15th. And that is on an auto pay system. And if that doesn't work out, then they are going to contact me 3 different ways from Sunday. So, should be able to keep the pipes thawed out. You know, it's not good for your electric to get turned off if you got a central heat and air that's electric and it's 12 degrees outside. I don't even know how it's legal to turn off somebody's power under those conditions. But all that fussy stuff that goes with shoulda, coulda, woulda, and why didn't you, and the dumb shittery, the fuss, is that necessary? No, it's not. So shut the fuss up, stick to business, get your head on your business, you know what I mean? And write these things down, right? So after doing that, I came back to over here and I did the toddler thing and I wrote this down. I was thinking about this and I jumped back up here and I was like, personal wealth, or in this case, net worth, which I found this later. I was trying to get a piece of paper out of my box because I wanted to put some Ovaltine into my half gallon of milk. I had about a quart left and I said, more Ovaltine please. So I made this into a funnel and then I stuck it in the deal and poured the dust into the jug to shake. So this is also a funnel, but since it fell out of my page, this is going to go into the, I'm going to start a whole new file for this, and I might go through this, but what I wanted you to see is I wanted you to see what I'm saying when I'm saying this. Okay, so like categories of life, this is off the top of my head, and then after the fact I thought of, well, there's hobbies and fun, entertainment, right? So, you know, there's got to be more to life than this. And now looking at this right now, in this situation right here, I wanted to show this because, you know, I could deep dive into each one of these. Each one of these things, I could deep dive into what does this mean to me. You know what I mean? And how is this fulfilling me, making me healthier, like mental health? How can I learn new skills, right? So let's just go with skills, since I was on skills. Okay, so family. So better family skills. So I could come back up here to my power list, okay, and I want to focus on the category of life family, and I want to build my wealth of skills. So I want marketable skills. So I want to go up here and let's say 5 things I can do to win or lose the day for encourage my wife and kids, you know, for providing for them nutrition, providing them a good example of exercise, a good example of going to work every day, a good example of taking off my work hat, putting on my house hat. And I need a house hat in the truck so that when I talk to family, I change my hat to change my mindset so that I can suit up for battle. You know what I mean? That battle being kind and gentle, because that's difficult for me. It's hard for me to be kind and gentle at times. I can do smart ass nonstop, but kind and gentle when I'm flustered is difficult. And see, and that also would overlap with relationships. That would also overlap with communications on here somewhere, or that's one of these skills over here. So that would be a balanced patient skill of, you know, and then the follow through with the grit. I can honor my wife by being, you know, nice to her, by focusing on that. So I'm thinking about how I can do it. I got to control myself and discernment. I mean, just, you know, solve their problems without being an asshole. You know, can I solve my wife's problem without being an asshole? Is my wife's problem that I don't listen to her suffering and show empathy? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Is that how I actually solve the problem? Is the problem that she wants somebody to feel her pain and show empathy? All you guys out there, is your wife's problem that you're not saying, oh, that must be difficult. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Pause. And then let her figure it out herself. And what that means is, wait a little bit, tell her what to do after a while, when she ain't feeling like you should be being empathetic. So the understanding of the psychology of a woman is, I have not found the Rosetta Stone, boys, but I'm sorry you have to deal with that, or I feel you. Yeah, buddy. Oh, man, really? She said what? Man, you know what I'm saying? And I've actually started learning that skill from the bobblehead Mexicans, because where I work at, they're all Mexicans, and I complain about white guy shit, and they go, yeah, man, well, what are you gonna do? Yeah, sorry about that. You know, like I could be talking to the lead mechanic about the way his $160,000 piece of equipment has an $8 fix that needs to happen, so that the computer doesn't, show these codes that put the entire international freight operation at risk of being shut down. But what they don't realize is like, I know that I can just unplug that wire, do what I got to do, go run a load, come back, and plug the wire back in, and then boom, that load didn't happen, but I got to check, didn't I? Oh, here's a fresh 70 hours to work. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to do that, but somebody else will, and they won't fix it. So, they got their pants down. But they went, yeah. And there again, like, is it my circus? No. I'm just a monkey. They are not my monkeys. I am a monkey. So that is a big thing. And that's something I want you guys to know, is that if you want a great hairstyle, just do that. That's how you get your hair going. Man, it's getting hot in here. But for real, is that better? Does that make you feel better? Can I continue now? What you should? Why'd you leave your cooler open, Skip? I thought you were professional. I thought you were solving everybody else's problems. You're over here letting your steaks thaw out. Okay, so if you haven't wrote it down, you haven't thought about it enough, because you can't see it to connect dots. Okay, like you literally need the magic of looking at the page to connect the dots, whatever that is. I could take these 3 pages I just wrote down that I just showed you. I could take the things off of this, and I could connect the dots on the skills page here. Okay. So I can do this right here. Watch this. So I can look up here, and I can work on my net worth, right? And then I can just do this. Boom. Study. Okay. So then I'm gonna study to increase my spiritual stuff, which will affect my relationships, which will bring me more money, right? And I can take this, to whatever age and stage, find out where I'm at, see where I want to be. You know what I mean? Because, like, what do I know about, the law of atonement? Okay? So I can come over here, and I can interface with this telephone and get into the Bible or whatever, and work on my discipline, reaching out towards Master. I'm probably at a novice to beginner on my deal. So a novice or a beginner, like, I'm over here in the milk section of this thing, so I need to up my game, because I'm literally 44, but I'm about a 9-year-old when it comes to the law of atonement, right? So I can increase my net worth in the kingdom of God, which is eternal, by studying the law. You see what I'm saying? So I can use this right here to connect my dots for me. You connect your dots for you. This is real deal Holyfield right here. I'm telling you, it hits hard. It hits hard. And when you get on here and you make an honest assessment and you think that your work situation, here's a category, work, and then let's do work, and let's cross that up with health and skills. Like, do I know how to file my taxes in an appropriate way that I do not owe taxes? Do the old dodge without actually breaking the law, and make sure that Caesar gets what Caesar's got coming to him, to be accurate with Jesus. But I'm going to also be a good steward of the things that God has given me. So I'm not going to overpay my taxes. Perhaps I should buy this field over here, put my neighbor to work raising these sheep, and then we'll depreciate this farmland with the, payments and everything else like that, whatever. Okay, and then we're going to go to, at that point, we're intermediate. You know what I'm saying? And we're probably about, 40 years old physically, and mentally, we're running at about a, intermediate level. You know what I mean? We're probably about 25 in the head when it comes to doing taxes or whatever else like that. You know what I mean? And if I'm sitting there and I'm looking at a situation, I'm like, okay, I'm completely dependent on this person to do my taxes because I don't know nothing about it, and I'm just being lazy. Okay, now we're getting back into the 75 hard, where you're looking at your bitch voice and your boss voice. You know what I mean? Are you going to be a punk? Or are you going to step up to the plate and make sure that you know what these tax codes are and why and everything else like that? Am I going to flex my interface with tools? You know what I mean? Am I at least going to get YouTube certified on how to, fill out these papers for a mortgage? You know what I mean? How many of you people read the back page of your mortgage? How many of you went to the bank and got a mortgage? This is a real question. Did you go to the bank and have the title company get the mortgage stuff and blah, 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 and you go in there to sign it? Did you get the paperwork the day before and read every page? No, you did not. You didn't even read the page you didn't even read the paperwork about the biggest financial decision that most people ever make in their life. 99% of the people do not even read it. On my deal, up and down, it said everything, and everybody told me blah, 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 2.5%. It was $306,000 and some change. It's going to cost me $68,000 because you take the payments, 12 months, 15 years, times the amount of the payment, comes out to the amount plus $68,000. Now, what percentage is 68,000 of 306? I'll let you do the math on that. Guarantee you it's more than 2.5%. Guarantee you go get your paperwork that you brought home from the title company. You probably talked to somebody about a homestead exemption. Hopefully you did. And then you probably put that big old stack of papers in a file cabinet somewhere, didn't you? You know you did. You know you did. Anyway, more than likely, I'm going to say with a 90% certainty, you do not know how much you're actually paying for your house. If you did know, you probably will burn the bank. But if you actually will do that, and you actually do know that, and you actually figure out that the 306 plus the 68 minus the depreciation of the 634 in the 15 years with inflation, once the mortgage stops, everything else will cost the amount of the payment anyway. So my current $4,000 a month into this process of having a comfortable home, I have flatlined that into perpetuity for my life here on the planet. Right? So I know that when I'm 65 years old, I'm going to need $4,000 a month to live there. And I know that I can live in the apartment there and rent the house out for $4,000. I can rent the house out for $5,000 right now. So, you got to make it make sense for you. It's got to make sense into the yonder. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing? You're just letting life happen to you. And it's happening to you because you did not write it down and look at it. You have to write it down and look at it. Oh, cast a spell. Look how fucking fat I look. Look at that. Look at that. It looks like a big old titty right there. Boy, it's out of line, ain't it? Looks like a big old titty. That's her. You know how you know what gets me motivated to work out? Right here, I got a little fat spot right here. You see that? That little bit of fat. I call that my armpit titty. I showed my wife that we was at Waffle House, and her friend showed up or whatever. They're like, "Yeah, we're at Waffle House, whatever." So she came in there or whatever, and I ordered some stuff. It came with a waffle. I didn't even eat the waffle, so I just gave it to her. And I was like, "Yeah." And I had told Tracy. I said, "Yeah." I was like, I knew it was time for me to start eating right because I got a titty under my arm. I said, "You feel that right there?" And I said, "It's soft like a titty." You know what I mean? I said, "That's my armpit titty," or whatever like that. So her friend was there, and Tracy starts laughing. She's like, "Tell her what you said," or whatever like that. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit eating waffles and stuff that way because I got a titty under my arm." And I showed that to her, and I wiggled it a little bit like that. And I said, "That's my armpit titty." And they busted out laughing. I mean, blowed coffee and everything. And yeah, so you know, get naked, stand in front of the mirror. Do you like it? Do you like what you see? Well, your spouse don't like that shit either. You know what I mean? And now, am I going to be good looking? You know what I'm saying? In 5 years, if I don't change nothing, no, I'm going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? So I need to walk 15,000 steps. Walking for 10 minutes equals 1,000 steps. So if you're doing this 75 hard, you're doing 2 workouts. You know what I mean? Make your workout walking and briskly walk. Get on a treadmill. Tip that bitch up. Get your heart rate into about 140 so you're burning fat, not triggering cortisol, burning glycogen. Actually burn your fat. Bust out 45 minutes. Go do something else. Bust out another 45 minutes. There's that's 45 and 45. That's 90 minutes. You know what I mean? That's 9 tens. You know what I'm saying? So that's 9,000 steps. You're probably getting 3,000 to 6,000 steps in your daily life already. Me being a truck driver, I have to walk for an hour every morning before I start my day. So it gives me 60, right? And then at the end of the day, I walk for an hour and that gives me 60. Then I lift these weights right here. Those weights, I gotta lift them, do some push-ups and stuff. And I'm on my down cycle. Like I get 5 days of carbs once every 3 months. You know what I mean? This is my last day of carbs. It's pizza day. And that's, you know, I got my free pizza from the truck stop and I ate it anyway. So that's the way I write stuff down. Now, for me, dude, I wrote it down. I'm just like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to have health? How am I going to do this stuff? You know what I mean? What am I going to do? How am I going to exact this change? You know what I'm saying? So I had to figure that out. Like, how can I actually do this? And immediately I thought, I need to be more active. And then I thought, you know, I need to eat better and stuff like that, you know, lower my caloric intake, you know, eat right, you know, eat whole foods, stuff like that. But I had some surprises along the way, you know, like, I had to get rid of my nut sack, you know what I mean? And I had to go to the, get the little bags. I just fill up, you know, just a handful of the mixed nuts because I was sitting there eating. You know what I mean? It's like I was starving myself or whatever and thought I was doing real good. And then one day, you know, I took a handful of things like almonds and walnuts and pistachios, cashews, whatever, pecans. And man, I found out that like I ate some of it, then I counted. You know what I mean? And I just grabbed a handful while I was driving. I take a bite of it or whatever, I'd make a mark on the page. Did it again, make a mark. Dude, I was eating 13 handfuls every day. You know what I mean? And then you run the numbers on that, dude, it's like 1,200 calories. You know what I'm saying? So my snacks was getting out of control or whatever. And then with my working out, like, everything's just changing shape, you know? So I'm a little bit less fat, but I'm a little bit more muscular. And where my muscles was at before was all from roofing and working out, being in jail and stuff like that. Well, getting in this truck, slapping on 60 pounds from sitting here for a few years, now doing the same workouts, I'm pushing a lot more weight, so I'm bulking. You know what I mean? So it's like I gotta step back from the push-ups and stuff, you know, because I did 75 push-ups the other day or whatever, and they'd like to kill me. And I was doing I used to do 10 sets of 50 every day, but I was 190 pounds, not 260. You know what I mean? And that's a big difference. And doing a full push-up and everything like that, you know. So once I wrote this down, you know, back and bis, chest and tris, legs and abs, back and bis, chest and tris, legs and abs, take a day off, worship the God on Sabbath, you know, figuring out that it's Friday from sundown till Saturday at sundown instead of Sunday. Okay, well, that's, you know, so as I'm writing this stuff down and I'm adjusting and everything, and I'm trying to get this thing right because I want to do right by God and I want to live long in the earth and be more prosperous for Him, number one, and then like take care of my family, right? And then hopefully, like, at some point I'll find a hobby in this deal. And I think this is it. I think this is it. The YouTube stuff, and you know, leave a record for the kid folk and the grandkids and stuff like that. Anyway, this is getting way too long. That's why you write stuff down and connect the dots for you in your own way, in your own time. I can take those 3 pages and probably do 70 hours of it, like an hour in a school classroom setting for each one of these. You can take anything off that page. So any of this list here, any of this list here, and I can run through these. So that would be all of this, all of that. And then I could do tips for myself. And then work whatever these 5 are. Like just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I could take these 12. There'd be some overlap. I could probably do an hour long for 70 hours. 10 subjects because of overlap, and run that through all of these skills through each one of these, and then break it down with this. Like what would it be as a novice, beginner, whatever, a different age and stage. So this is your age and stage. You need this. You need to write this down. You need to write down your age and stage and what that means to you, and get that on paper and get these categories for yourself. You need age and stage interchangeable. You need this. You got to write this down. You got to decipher this for yourself. You need to go and get the book, The Power List, and you need to get YouTube certified with Andy Frisella on how to do this, win the day. Okay? You need to do that. And that is problem solving. That is your number one skill right here. Problem solving. Solve your problems. Focus. Thinking critically. Self-control. Balance. Patience. And that's how you win. I mean, that's just it seems boring, but I'm telling you right now, when you hit these epiphanies where you start talking slow, like a lot of times I'll be in a church setting, you can tell somebody gets it because they'll say the words real slow. It's like, he died for my salvation. And it's like hitting the person. It's like, wow, like I was really going to go to hell, but Jesus died for me. And it's this, everybody says come to Jesus moment, but it's the appreciate Jesus moment. They're like, wow. You know what I'm saying? You'll start having those. And once you have those, and you file that in your sober mind, dude, it's yours. They can't take it from you. Okay? They can take your car, they can take your house. They can't take what's in between your ears. It's yours. Build it. Make your place inside your head a comfortable place to live. Do that for you. You owe that to you. That is your due diligence. That's probably the best thing I said all day. Raquel, go get him.